Okay, everybody's got a fucking podcast. I mean, we have a podcast, so obviously anyone can do it.
Wait, this is a podcast?
Are you recording right now?
Technical difficulties.
No, you don't have to say anything. I'm gonna edit it out.
Technical difficulties.
Okay.
I put mayonnaise on a pickle.
It was not the best, but it might have been the worst.
Do my feet? I mean, my feet stink, right?
Yeah. November.
Heyo.
Choice number 2 by Dakota. Four Brothers.
I
What made you pick this movie?
I don't know. I've always liked the movie. It's always been very intriguing. I mean, I've seen the movie tons of times. I don't know. It's just one of the movies you can watch over and over again and you just enjoy it. Just a fun ride.
I would agree. Very watchable. Short. Well, short, as short as a movie gets, really. I mean, you're kind of hard-pressed to find a movie under an hour and a half. So, hour 48, pretty manageable time.
Yeah. Did you have to rent it?
Yeah.
I apologize. So when I made the suggestion, it was on Netflix at the time still.
Sure.
So they must have either dropped it sometime in August or in this month. I went to go pull it up because I went to go watch it again last night. I went to go pull it up. I'm like, the fuck is it at?
Yeah.
Luckily, I got the DVD, but
Right.
I was still like, it was just on Netflix. I feel like I just scrolled past it the other day while searching for something to watch.
Yeah. I mean, $4.
Yeah.
You can rent most things for like $4.99 and under on YouTube. I mean, it's not you don't want to make a habit of it, but
It's not the end of the world.
in a pinch, it's kind of like whatever. It's a nice service YouTube provides.
Yeah.
Rent pretty much anything at any given time. Amazon's like that too. But I think Amazon's prices are typically a little higher.
Yeah. About a little bit. I think like $1 or $2.
Yeah.
Now, excuse me.
We don't have enough mics for cough buttons.
I know. Now, since I had the DVD version,
Yep.
I got to do what you always do with every movie that you own. Go through all the specials. Went through some of them, not all of them.
Yeah.
But you're talking about the time of the movie, about an hour 40. There was, how many was it? 9 or 8? 9 or 8 deleted scenes.
Okay. I'm very curious here. What were the deleted scenes?
So, and it goes in, it played it like it does it in order from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie when you select one. So the first one is when they're at their mother's funeral. Apparently, Jeremiah, Bobby, and Jack all give different eulogies. Well, mainly Jeremiah and Jack. Bobby just kind of closes out the service. But so there's that. That was about a 3-minute long scene.
Sure.
The second was, that was the second. The first one was apparently there was an extended scene in the beginning when she got gunned down inside the corner store, where she actually interacted with the 2 people who killed her. I could see why they probably cut that scene out, because when I watched it, I was like, well, it just made the storyline really fucking confusing. Because it they were trying to play off that whole it was just a random robbery, but with it being an actual execution, just the interaction that happened in there just made it seem like, what the fuck is going on? So
Yeah.
I could see why they cut that out. It just didn't fit the narrative of the story very well. Then there's a couple scenes that got cut out of just the brothers kind of either bickering back and forth and teasing each other or whatever. There was, you remember at the end of the movie, when Bobby was cutting wood to put in the windows and the kids came up and was talking to him. There was a scene earlier in the movie where they were in it. It was right after, it was when right after the scene where they chased down the dude in the apartment, and Bobby got chewed up by the dogs.
Yeah.
So the next scene when they were in his, their mom's house, and he was getting, kind of band-aided up or whatever. Those kids came to the door. Apparently, I guess every Sunday she would give those kids food. So they were at the door expecting they were going to get food, and they were like, no, she's not here. She's not coming back. And then Angel ended up just giving him $20, told him to go down to the fast food restaurant to get some food.
Yeah.
But so they had a little thing in the beginning, which I guess kind of makes more sense other than just some random kids being like, so Evelyn's never coming back?
Yeah.
There was a scene where Lieutenant Green interviewed the councilman at the councilman's office, which that just really didn't add much to the story.
Sure.
I'm drawing a blank on a few of them now.
My biggest thing I'm curious about is, was there any deleted, bathroom scenes? Because I read this goofy IMDb fact. I went through the IMDb, trivia section, right? And one of the things it says, and I just said, I don't know how credible these fucking IMDb facts are, but this IMDb fact just seems like it can't fucking be true. It says the bathroom scene took about 2 days to shoot. That little short scene in the fucking bathroom where he's literally he's taking a shit, and he's like,
Jack's taking a
"Hey,
shower.
know how I was fucking her last night? Well, look at this on my dick." And then, he's like, "He's a dick expert," and then Jack's like, "It's a rug burn," and then they just say we gotta go investigate such and such today.
Need some finesse and all that.
Yeah. It's like a 2-minute scene in the bathroom. And they said it took 2 days, 12 hours a day. Mark Wahlberg sat on a toilet for 12 hours and had to be helped off the toilet at the end of the day from sitting so much. Tyrese wore nothing but a robe, and I didn't write the dude's name down, but his skin, from being saturated in too much
water. Oh, you talking about Jack?
I can't remember his actor's name. Yeah.
Garrett Hedlund.
Yeah, Garrett Hedlund. His
Hedlund.
skin pruned and would split and shit because he's just under the. And I'm like, there's no fucking way.
There's no way that has to.
I don't know who that's not even a Wikipedia. I don't know if IMDb's the Wild Wild West like Wikipedia is, but.
Yeah, I've never heard that one before. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, so I don't believe that one.
Can you imagine having to sit on the toilet for 12 hours?
I feel like at a certain point, those high dollar actors are going to be like, unless it's just them sitting there, just cracking jokes, but after a half hour, I feel like that gets old.
Yeah.
There's no way.
All right, do the scene again, but lean a little more forward.
Yeah. There's no fucking way.
No way. Yeah, I mean, other than that, it was just short, little dialogue scenes that were deleted, when they first, so the scene when they went to the abandoned car factory that Jeremiah had ambitions of turning into, housing. There's a scene cut out right before that of them getting to the factory, about a 30-second scene. Then there's another scene of, what's his name, Detective Fowler. Talking shit to Angel when the whole little hold up thing there at his house.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Word.
There's another one I watched on there that was it showed the shootout scene that happened in front of their house where Jack died.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool because they showed how they set up all the pyrotechnics and all that, and apparently they had. So obviously they had a house that was on scene that they filmed at and everything, but they built an exact replica in a studio, exactly the same features and everything. I was like, that's kind of cool, but I feel like that's also I don't know.
It happens most of the time.
I know it happens most of the time. I'm just thinking, man, that's a lot of work just to build a front of a house just to. I don't know. I mean, you get paid for it, so it's whatever, but.
It's all about your camera angles and. If the house isn't necessarily, a fucking like sitcom set, you know, is always like, you know, half of it. You know, then you got cameras and shit out here. You know, you're basically making a half house. So
Yeah, but like a sitcom though, it's, you know, it's gonna last for a while. Hopefully, it's good. But you know.
yeah, but you know, those productions are probably all time. You know, so you know whatever makes the production go quicker once you're in, you know, once you are actually filming. Excuse me. Yeah.
They he credited. I guess Mark Wahlberg did most of his own stunts in that movie. I guess there's a few of them he didn't do, but as I said, Mark Wahlberg did most of them. Like he said that he was happy because at first they were going to have kind of like a stunt person that was going to be in that scene where like when he's like laying like down under the window and the glass is getting blown out and all the little pyrotechnics are going through the wall for the bullets. Mm-hmm. So they were originally going to have like a stunt person and they were going to have like their face down and everything, so you couldn't, you know, tell it wasn't him. But he's like, I guess he said, you know, he wanted to do that scene, so they were able to do it where you could see his face, he could lean back up and shoot out because they were going to like try and work around because, you know, some actors are like, I'm not risking getting glass in my face.
Yeah.
Which, understandable, kind of. It's also like, you auditioned for the role.
You're in the big leagues
you
now.
know, it's kind of like one of the things like when you apply for a job and then you start working at the job and you look at one of the job requirements that they're asking you to do, you're like, I'm not doing that. I'm like, well, you signed up for the job.
Yeah.
So.
Read
Yeah.
it.
I don't know. The actors are like have everyone that never does anything or never puts herself at any little bit of risk when they know the role that they're playing is kind of crazy to me. But to each his one's own.
Yeah, I mean, there's risks involved, but you're also getting paid.
Yeah.
So I mean,
You get paid more than us.
Yeah.
I think we put ourselves in more danger daily than what actors do in movie sets.
Well, I definitely never put my face next to anything that's going to explode, but...
I mean, I have in your backyard before, but...
Yeah, I wasn't getting paid for that. I don't know.
Exactly.
If someone was paying you, I don't know. I mean, that checks out with Wahlberg, because, I mean, now allegedly... I don't trust any of these fucking IMDb facts after that whole fucking... toilet 12-hour days on the toilet. I don't believe it. So I don't know if I believe any of these other things, but it says all the snow was real. Like, you know, which
I think
in a lot of those productions, yeah, I mean, because a lot of they said they shot a lot in Canada.
Yeah, a lot of the snow on scene I know was real because when it was filmed, they were in that one scene.
Well, like even the snow falling is what they were saying. And I was like, well, that's some good timing then.
Because in that scene where they're, you know, that same special scene or whatever you want to call it, where they're going over the pyrotechnics and all that, they were talking about that, you know, that to do some of the maneuvers they were doing was difficult because it was, you know, below 10 degrees when they were out filming.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So.
Checks out.
Yeah, that checks out. Yeah, so the shoot never exceeded 24 degrees. But I guess supposedly Wahlberg signed on before there was ever a director picked out for the movie because he liked the script so much. Now, again, because I don't believe the bathroom scenes...
You don't know if that's true.
I don't know if that's true. It says the word fuck was used 62 times in the movie, which that I believe.
Yeah.
Denzel Washington allegedly considered for Victor Sweet, which would have added to the movie, certainly.
It'd be interesting. But I think the guy who played Victor Sweet, I'm not going to attempt to pronounce his name.
I'm going to go with Chiwetel Ejiofor.
I'm not going to pronounce it. I'm going to butcher it.
That's what I'm going. That's my guess. Chiwetel Ejiofor.
But I think the guy who played him pretty
well.
well.
He did a fine job.
Pretty well.
But just, you know, Denzel's Denzel. You know.
Then it just would have added to, you know, the popular name lineup of that movie anyway. You know, I mean, Mark Wahlberg, Tyrese, Andre 3000, Terrence Howard. You had, Taraji P. Henson as well for, you know, in short scenes.
Yeah. Most of these guys, I feel like Terrence Howard is Terrence Howard, and he gets into shit. I have no problem with Terrence Howard, but I feel like Wahlberg, Tyrese, and Andre 3000's voice. Where, like, you know, the Rock effect, where it's like, oh, he's the Rock. You know,
Yeah.
whatever he's in, he's the Rock. I feel like whatever Mark Wahlberg's in, he's Mark Wahlberg. You know, and I feel the same way about Tyrese. Whatever Tyrese is in, he's Tyrese.
Tyrese.
Now, Andre could act, but it was his voice for me where I was always like, are we about to break into an Outkast song right now? Like, what's going on?
That's fair. That's fair.
Because he was good. Like, but just the voice, I was like, man, that's Outkast.
It's like Tyrese freaking plays. My impression of Tyrese, he plays. I don't know if you get the reference. He plays Baby Boy in every movie. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Baby Boy.
No.
But every movie I've seen him in, he plays like Baby Boy. Like that's just, and maybe that's just how he acts. I think it fit the movie well. This movie well. Mark Wahlberg. I mean, it's just Mark Wahlberg, just badass.
Yeah.
And then, which.
I like Mark Wahlberg a lot.
So do I.
He's entertaining.
I might buy from his car dealership one day here in Columbus.
Sure.
But
But he's the same dude in every movie.
I will say, he cannot do a crying scene, though.
Yeah.
That was...
Andre did good with the crying.
Yeah. Mark Wahlberg cannot do a crying scene, though. So that scene when he went in the bathroom and, like, you could tell he was trying to force it and it wasn't happening. And then the old actor's trick of you rub water on your face, pretend like you're trying to freshen up, and then it makes it look like you're crying. And I was like...
that reminded me of that. I just watched Boogie Nights, which has him in it. It's actually kind of an entertaining movie because it's about just porn in the 70s.
Uh-huh.
And so, just a lot of breasts, and it's an entertaining story. I'd suggest
Entertaining
it.
breasts.
I mean, it's a fun story because it's just about just all these goofy characters in the porn industry, and it's a lot of people, such as like Burt Reynolds, what's the dude, John C. Reilly,
Okay.
obviously Wahlberg. What's the guy's name? He's god damn it! I forget his name every time I want to mention his name. It's the dude in.
Was it Boogie Nights?
Yeah, it's the dude in the blonde dude in Twister. You know what I'm talking about? Fucking as soon as you say his name, I'm gonna be like, yeah, that, and it's just gonna annoy me.
Philip Seymour?
Yes, Philip Seymour Hoffman. I don't know why I can never. And I like that dude so much. I don't know why I can never remember his goddamn name. But he's in it, and he's just this like awkward dude. Anyway, there's a scene where basically Mark Wahlberg's so fucking coked up in the movie that he can't get a boner, and so they're about to shoot a scene. He's in the bathroom, and he's like, come on, you're a fucking rock star. And he's like, come on, yelling at himself and everything. And then he comes out, and they start this whole fight because he's like, no, I'm ready to shoot now. I'm hard right now. And they're like, we're not ready to shoot yet. He's like, we're shooting right now. And then so they have a whole fight, and he leaves. And, it's kind of him coming full circle. Like, he can do whatever at first, and then now he's too coked up to even do the job. He used to be able to just fuck on command, come on command, like all, just all this shit. He was always awesome, and then...
Could you imagine being able to come on command? You could just be like...
Well, I don't know. I probably know what I mean, but, like, he was like... They were like, we need a cum shot scene. We didn't get a cum shot. And he's like, oh, I can do it again. So I don't know if that meant on command or just like, well, I'm going to fuck the shit out of her, and then eventually I'll come again. I don't know. But he's fun in that movie. And that scene is all I could think of, because I had like just watched Boogie Nights a couple weeks ago. And so then when he's in the mirror trying to do that crying scene, all I could think of was like, come on, you're a fucking rock star! You're a fucking rock star! Yeah. So, as far as the other facts written on IMDb that I don't trust,
We should just do a segment of
Facts I don't trust.
facts you don't trust on IMDb. Just
Yeah.
like
Based on Henry Hathaway Western The Sons of Katie Elder, starring John Wayne and Dean Martin in 1965. So apparently this had a similar storyline. It said it was based on something else loosely, but I don't know. I didn't write all of it down. Toilet scene, snow being real. Apparently the shot of the mother being killed was altered to not be so bloody, because apparently it was like a whole messy scene.
Oh, you didn't notice that?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's just like a bullet hole.
Well, like the because I've noticed it like many times ago when I watched it, and every time I know I'm like, okay, this scene's about to come on, it's about to bug me. So we're watching security cam footage, and walk over and they point the gun at her, and then all of a sudden it cuts, and you just see her like that, and I'm like, well, that was badly chopped. I was like, I don't know, I didn't know that they cut it back because it was just way too bloody.
Yeah, apparently there was like
just
a big cloud of blood at first. Like it was this whole big gnarly scene, and then they were just. I mean, that's what facts on IMDb. I apparently believe, according to that.
Maybe okay, maybe that might be true because it was just a real bad like edit. Maybe like they were in the editing stage, you're looking like that's a little too much. Let's just roll that back. But obviously they were past shooting, so like we're not going to reshoot that scene.
Yeah.
Just badly, make it look like the security cam footage was made in Windows Movie Maker.
Sure. And the only other thing was it's funny the way the IMDb facts were too, because you're reading through this list and then like it's like such and such was considered for the role of Bobby, and then you read like a couple facts and then it's like such and such was considered for the role of Bobby, and you're like, okay. The role of Bobby was allegedly Brad Pitt, Vin Diesel, Jeremy Renner, Bradley Cooper were all considered for the role. So, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know how true that is.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how true it is.
It's a little suspect.
How well any of those would have done.
I think it's always amazing when you have a good movie come together. When you have a good movie and like all the cast members just somehow work out perfect. And then you read like who was considered for the role or who auditioned or who turned it down, and you're like, yeah, if it was this person, this movie would not have been the same. Every actor brings a different vibe to the set and to the movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things you kind of wonder, like, well, if they would have done, say, the other actor, would it be like, would we just not think twice about it, like in another film, or would it be, and then that person that was actually in the film, would that be considered weird? Is it just a matter of hindsight?
Yeah,
of
maybe
like
it's a
you've
hindsight.
seen it one way, and so it wouldn't be different, or you think it would be different, but it probably wouldn't be different.
That's fair. It's a fair point.
Yeah.
Still think it'd be different.
Yeah, no, it would be. I mean, Vin Diesel's a fucking. Talk about a guy that's only one person in any given movie.
Jesus. I read that for Vin Diesel, in preparation of his role on Fast and Furious, he drank 1 gallon of GM motor oil every day.
On IMDb?
To prepare for the role on Fast and Furious. 5W30 GM motor oil every day.
You read it on IMDb, didn't you?
I actually seen it in a meme, and I screenshot it. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
I was like, that's funny.
All right, so to start the movie, we get this old lady getting shot in a hybrid between what looks like a convenience store mixed with a grocery store mixed with like a tape rental place that they all call a liquor store, which I didn't really see any liquor in there. I mostly saw food and tapes and candy, and
Could have been a liquor store.
I mean, they call it a liquor store, so it's obviously a liquor store, but like that store is a little.
To be fair, you go and a lot of hoods, and you'll see literally corner stores that are set up just it's a little bit of just everything, because you go to densely packed areas like that, and think about how far away the grocery store is compared to, you know, it's that centralized area. Their grocery stores kind of don't really like to be in the hood all like that.
Yeah.
Like, not as much as you see them, you know, going up and down, you know, a suburban area. Yeah, there's corner stores like that in the hood. It's very interesting. Have a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I mean, they got like VHS tapes for rent.
Had turkeys.
Turkeys.
I don't know how much I trust a turkey from a corner store, but
It was in the cooler, right? It's in the display case, whatever. I don't know.
I don't know. But
What an establishment.
the guy should have been from the Middle Eastern.
Apparently. They almost make her seem like a racist old lady at first, the way she's talking to the kid, and you're kind of... I don't know, immediately I was just like, this fucking bitch. And then, you know, at the end you kind of... By the time the kid leaves the store, you're like, oh, okay. She's like, you know...
Just trying to help him out.
Helping him out, you know. But...
He's like, damn, this old lady's going in about a fucking goddamn... What was it? A goddamn fucking Tootsie Roll or something?
Yeah. Yeah. Just trying to help the kid out. Dudes walk in, rob the register, kill her.
Kill the clerk.
Kill the clerk.
Make some Middle Eastern comments.
Yeah, some things we won't talk about.
So, what did they say? I've got the script right here.
That, like, just so Mark Wahlberg's use of the N-word.
Oh, yeah, the one, yeah.
You're like, okay.
Yeah, the first time I watched it, like, fully through, because I first time I seen it, I kind of, like, half-ass watched it, and I was like, okay, wait, that was a good movie. This seemed like a good movie. Let me go back and watch it fully again. I watched it fully, and I got to that part, I was like, wait a minute, I had to rewind it. I'm like, I was like, okay, yeah. I'm not hearing things. Okay, that was a little, that sounded very forced.
Yeah.
Although, but according to the internet, Mark Wahlberg's history, that probably comes natural, if you believe stuff the internet says. Apparently, back in his Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch days, and before that, he was apparently a racist and would beat up black people. Don't know how true that is. It was something that was on Twitter a long time ago, and, you know, can't believe everything you see on the internet. I'll believe it when I see him beating up a black person and calling him the N-word. I mean,
you know, little did anybody know that at first it was Marky Mark and the Racist Bunch. And,
then they had to change it. They just couldn't get any, like,
couldn't
airplay.
Couldn't get a following. You know, they had to play all their shows in the South.
Yeah.
And then they had to abandon the hoods and change it to the Funky Bunch, and, you know,
and like
thus launches Marky Mark's career.
There we go.
You know.
That's why all of his car dealerships, there's no black cars.
I wasn't going to go that far, you know, but I think that really crossed the line. So yeah, they really shoot it in the way that they kind of fool the viewer first time.
Yeah.
If you're a first time viewer, of just, you know, because they don't really react to her until they hear her kind of yelp because she's in shock.
Someone just got shot.
You know, the counter guy getting shot.
I mean, you might make a noise if someone gets shot. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to keep my mouth shut though.
She did, just poorly. She was like,
yeah. Yeah, I'd probably yelp.
Did you notice when they're taking money out of the register, they left $120 in there?
Well, that was the thing I went back for when I went back and watched it again.
They left a $20 bill
I was
in there.
like, oh, so they're leaving money. Like, yeah, so the filmmaker is trying to show you, like, hey, it's not about the robbery, it's about killing this lady. So, you know, there's a couple hints in there.
Goddamn clerk! I wonder if he would have got killed if he wasn't Middle Eastern.
That's interesting, but they also, I think yes, because they probably want to take out any witnesses either way. But so this brings the Mercer brothers into town for her funeral. The movie is mostly about them trying to get revenge for their mother's murder. Revenge flicks are fun. This one definitely had like a lighter tone, I'd say, than something like a Taken.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Things like that. A lot of comic relief. The morality of this movie is interesting. I think the the... Oh my god, what? Bobby.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I don't know. Mark's character, you know. Marky, Danny, Bobby, whatever the fuck. Bobby. They're all sitting at the table. They do the Thanksgiving dinner, which... Couple things about the Thanksgiving dinner. I would think that, you know, maybe Jerry would have, like, his whole family over. Maybe they'd go to his house and have Thanksgiving dinner with his family. Also, allegedly, Sophie's just upstairs and they just ate without her. I imagine she wouldn't be too happy about that. Like, she just comes down while they're eating and like, you're just going to eat without me? Seems fucked up. I don't know. Goofy. But the other thing was the... So I thought those were goofy. But anyhow, they're all sitting there at the table. And Jeremiah sees her at the end of the table. She's at the end of the table.
Uh-huh.
I guess that's probably where she sat, right? Jeremiah sees her first. She basically tells her to close his mouth when he's chewing.
What is this, a barn?
And so, I don't know if that was like a comforting thing to him. Because I was, when I was writing the note down, I'm like, she comforts all of them, except for Jeremiah, who she just tells to shut his mouth. But maybe that was a comforting thing to him. Was her always telling him to mind his manners, maybe. And then Angel with his tattoo, and then she's like, no, I got a tattoo, you don't have to hide them. And then Jack, she's like, comforts. Jack was drinking milk, by the way. He had milk and a beer. Odd combination of Thanksgiving dinner.
He was very, that was just a very, like, interesting scene for him. Like, how he was acting.
It's very much implied that he was
Very
heavily
traumatized.
sexually abused when...
Like, he was just like... I'm like, Jesus, like... I mean, if he's trying to play, like, heavily traumatized, he's doing it well.
Did it well. And I imagine that's probably why Bobby calls him gay all movie and stuff. He's probably, and the way he's probably the least masculine of the four of them. And so they, that was another one of the facts that I didn't write down, but it said that was all improvised by Mark Wahlberg. And I don't know how well that ages that Mark Wahlberg was just calling him dick lips and fairy and all that shit just off the cuff. Like he'd like to be able to say like
The cock inspector.
it was in the script, man. Like I don't know, I was just reading lines.
Unless if in the script said improvised gay comments.
Right? Yeah, I mean, I guess that works out.
Improvised homophobia.
Yeah. So they all get comforted, but then Bobby looks at the end of the table. He doesn't see her. Right, and so the movie goes on. The killers are dead. He tells the kids, she's not coming back. She's dead. She's dead because the one kid's like, because she's dead.
Because she's dead.
He's like, yeah, it's because she's dead. And so then he's walking in the house and he sees her sitting on the doorstep knitting. And so I don't know if it was like acceptance, like he hadn't accepted her death yet. He's kind of in the denial thing, or if it meant like now he's got his revenge. Which I don't know how that works. If the message is like, if someone kills someone you love, go out and murder a bunch of people and then kill the killer, then you'll feel better. I don't know.
It's fair. I mean, maybe that's logical.
Yeah. But yeah. Andre 3000's voice, I couldn't get over that the whole time. Like anything, like when he said the thing about look how y'all doing Mama's house, man. Like, it just, I mean, you know how they talk, how he talks in songs sometimes, and I'm just like, is this like, I don't know.
You just wait for her to bust out, Caroline!
Yeah.
And then the other three are like, Caroline! Yeah. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
Is this an Outkast video?
This is the longest fucking Outkast video I've ever seen.
Good quote by Bobby. Come on, Green. I used to make a good living around here because cops like you couldn't find tits in a strip joint. They come back to the house, after the funeral and hanging out at Jeremiah's house. He said he missed his plane. I like in the end credits where you see him in the airport with a fraudulent credit card. And, it's just funny because he probably missed his plane because he got arrested, likely. I just thought that was funny. And, the Union scene and Bobby playing hockey and Jack being in a rock band. Those are cool scenes to see at the end.
Kind of gives a little more backstory of them. And
Yeah. It's obviously portrayed that Bobby's a criminal of some kind. Like, wherever he was, before the funeral.
it's New York.
New York?
At least that's what the plates on his car were. Plates on his car were New York plates, so I can only speculate he was in New York. New York State.
Right.
Anywhere in New York.
So, if he's being a criminal, why wouldn't he just stay in Detroit and be a criminal? Right? I mean, home with his mom and all that kind of shit. I mean, not obviously you don't have to live with your mom. Nobody wants to live with their mom. But, no one wants to live with family, really. But,
And obviously he has some type, the Mercer family in general, but Bobby, they have some type of, connection, with, Lieutenant Green. They seem like, obviously there's a little bit of, back and forth, but, there seems to be, some kind of, mutual respect that's going on right there between the two.
well, yeah, that's what I thought was weird with, this kind of odd mutual...
Maybe, and it's all speculation, but maybe Lieutenant Green, would I guess help them out, knew that they were troubled kids, would try and help them out, give them the benefit of the doubt, or whatnot, or try and help keep them out of trouble.
But I think it's portrayed that they're pretty much the same age, that they grew up together, because Green was saying that he played hockey with Bobby.
Oh, it could have been that.
I just, for them having this connection, for them to split off like that, and then, to come back together, and then just this connection's just, right back where it was, seems interesting. Although I guess it's like that with some people you haven't seen in a while. You see them after a while, and you just kind of pick right up where you left off. It's not every relationship in your life. It's like
once
that,
or twice a year.
Yeah.
Once or twice a year.
Yeah. Or every time their mom dies, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought that was goofy. If you're going to be a criminal, why not just be a criminal in Detroit?
Where
The legality of this movie is insane, in which, he can just go around killing people all the time, and then
get away with it.
all they get is just, Green walking around, kind of being impartial, are you killing people? And then they're like, no, we're not killing people. And he's like, are you sure? Are you sure you're not killing people?
Nah, I'm not killing people. But if I was, this is what probably would have happened.
This is probably why it happened. If I did kill those people, they fucking OJ them.
Write a goddamn book I didn't kill that bitch, but if I did, here's how I would have done it.
Tell you what, I'm gonna write you an essay on what would have happened last night if I was involved.
And they probably wouldn't have talked.
Well, I thought that was funny too. It's they chased those guys out of the bowling alley, the ones that killed their mom, and they find them, and they question him. They ask him one question, who made you? What, I don't know what the wording of the question was, but in essence, who paid you to kill the woman, and they're like, I ain't telling you shit. And so okay, pop. Wow, fucking master interrogators over here. Jesus. I don't know. I guess it was kind of a move the story along thing, but
that was an extremely dramatic car chase scene.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Not realistic at all.
Yeah, I don't think you're getting that far on the rim.
No, let alone with that much snow and two older rear-wheel drive vehicles that can't get traction, and the spin out scene. I'm like, listen, I've spun out in the snow before. It does not happen like that.
Bobby just slams right into those cars and he's just hitting around and like, ah.
Fucking, like, he threw his fucking car, like, he kicked his car sideways and hit the other car just enough just to flip it, like, 4 times. I'm like...
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
It
was weird.
I don't think that would happen like that.
I mean, it looked great, though.
Absolutely. And then, like, after the car flipped, obviously that means that they were, like, still right beside it. They cut to them inside the car, and they're still, like, driving. And I'm like, why are you not stopped?
Yeah. Also, continuity thing. For some reason, I wrote a lot of these out of order. I guess it was just when I thought about things, and then anyway. So they go in to their house, and Angel is like, it's like, oh, I'm gonna give me something to eat. And then, cut to Angel's like sitting in his room. I don't know. It's just the guy. Where's the food? I don't know.
Sitting in his room. Did you notice the picture of the fucking ass right behind him?
Yeah.
Like it looks like a whole kid's room, and he's got a fucking big old ass right there on the wall, and I'm like, I like that. I admire that.
It's integrity right there. All right, this is my... So, do you think Bobby is gay? I think Bobby's gay.
What gives you that?
So, he never has a girl the whole movie. Then again, neither does Jack. And maybe Jack didn't live long enough to get a girl. Because the way he went out, that was rough.
Yeah, that was bad.
Never has a girl. Always very insistent on calling Jack gay. Where, I mean, sometimes dudes are like that. They're just toxic masculinity, I suppose. Right?
That's the correct term for it now?
Yeah. The old term was just like, hey, you fucking asshole.
Yeah, you're being a douche.
You're being a bit of a...
Yeah, douche was the old term. Now it's toxic masculinity.
Being a dick. Never really has a girl. Seems like the type that would be overcompensating by calling Jack gay, even to write down when he's dying, but maybe that was just their... I mean, obviously it was their thing that he always called him gay, but it also seemed to bother Jack that he just always called him gay, like the one scene when they're drunk in the bar. And he's like, Jack got fans! Jack likes boobs! But yeah, so that's brothers, obviously, but then... another comment in the back seat when Jeremiah said he's got to take the girls to ballet or gymnastics. I think it was gymnastics. And then Jeremiah gets out of the car and he's saying, "Take Jack with you. He's spry." And then lets Jeremiah out. And then Jack's like you're the one who took ballet, Bobby.
Yeah, I remember that comment.
I could definitely see that character being somebody who's just like overcompensating and won't just come to terms with it, and he's just calling everybody gay. And
could be. We know if there's ever a sequel. Maybe we'll find out.
Which that was the thing I was reading about.
Supposedly, well,
and then I guess
Tyrese like teased that they're having a sequel for Brothers. But this is a movie that does not need a sequel.
No, it doesn't need a sequel.
There's no way for a sequel for this.
I can't imagine it being good. I mean, because this is a movie that's kind of so over the top and ridiculous. It'd be like if there was a sequel to, say, like Fast and Furious 6 or Fast and Furious 7
or Fast
and Furious 8
or the fourth. Anything after the fourth?
Anything after the fourth. It was a reasonable series up to number 4, but yeah. Yeah. It'd be like if Fast and Furious made, I don't know, 11 movies.
We're going We'll be doing this podcast. It'll be like 5-6 years from now. It'll be like, yeah, so we're going to be reviewing Fast and Furious 23.
Yeah.
They're going to Mars.
Going to Mars. Yeah, they team up with Elon Musk.
Elon Musk plays himself in the movie.
This blockbuster is set in 2028. I thought it was interesting they chose hockey as the sport in this movie. I don't know. Maybe Detroit's a big hockey town. I mean, I know the Red Wings are big, but like,
Well, plus, I mean,
it's Thanksgiving football. You know what I mean?
Maybe hockey's big, and they're right by Canada. Canada loves hockey.
Well, only shop most of this in Canada, according to IMDb facts. I don't believe so. Just Thanksgiving football. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then just some of the things that take place on Thanksgiving Day, allegedly, where, so they eat, they go play hockey. And maybe it's not on Thanksgiving. Maybe they're just like, well, it was Thanksgiving. But it certainly seemed like it was taking place on Thanksgiving. And I don't know if they meant the next scene to be on a different day. But they're just in that lawyer's office on Thanksgiving Day, the safety deposit box, and I don't know, it just seems like not a Thanksgiving Day activity, and then they're at the bar later, which, a shitty dive bar will probably open up for you on Thanksgiving in a small town, so that one I'm not going to fight too much. Hell, everything's open on Thanksgiving anymore, but I would imagine that some lawyer is not going to just let four degenerates in.
The lawyer's probably going to be off Friday as well in the weekend.
Yeah, he ain't going to see you till Monday at least. Be lucky. So Jeremiah only had to pay $20,000 back to Sweet. Then why doesn't he tell them he's got the money coming in? I mean, I know they're like kind of mischievous dudes, but I always find full disclosure to be the best policy. Like, that's what a lot of movie plots kill me with. It's just like, hey man, just tell them. Come out, be honest. We'll avoid a lot of the conflict in this movie, but you don't have any conflict, you don't have any movie. So
Could you just imagine?
Whatever, just come up with a better conflict.
Imagine with a movie with all the logical responses and everything logically works out, and just no climax. It's just a steady movie. You just watch someone just make a business deal, and you're like, the end. I paid $15 for a ticket for this. Well, it's the best movie ever. No wonder Rotten Tomatoes give it 100%.
Yeah, all right. That's why I like a movie that, find the real problem, write about that. That's the kind of, there's too many movies. Obviously, some movies are going to be this way, that way, whatever. Jeremiah ended up being a good red herring for the story, because you kind of spend time on this, you miss other things, and yeah. Again, legality of the shit they do with this oddly impartial cop. You want to talk about Detroit? Does Detroit get any better, or is it just kind of staying where it is?
A little bit.
That's what I was kind of reading about.
It's getting a little bit better.
There's a guy feeding fish or something in an article I read.
That's the best thing that's happened in Detroit since GM. Guys out there feeding the fish.
Well, this article.
No hungry fish left behind.
That's a. I think that's a thing I want to start doing on here. It's terrible movie summaries. Just. But I don't know, this article, that would be a terrible summary of this article. This guy was talking about this dude who feeds fish, he breeds fish, and so then supposedly, I don't remember how it worked, but this whole irrigation system where something fertilized shit down here, grew food, and then he used the fish food, feed the fish, and then he grows the fish, and he sells the fish to these markets, or these restaurants, rather. I don't know. Badly summarized an article, guy feeds some fish.
This guy looks like he might have owned an aquarium before.
Yeah, and then he's talking, I guess the guy went and met other people in the business area, and just parts of Detroit that were kind of coming back, he's meeting with these different people with businesses. And
Detroit is kind of coming back. I haven't been up there anytime recently. The last time I was up in Detroit was 2013.
Why?
And why?
Yeah.
Something about I went with a couple friends up there. There was a whole contest one of my friends was trying to get into to be
murdered?
No, not yet. That's what I was trying to get. I was trying to get into drugs up there. But it was a contest they were having it was like a dancing contest. You know, whoever wins goes on final. You know, to finals to be like featured in a Chris Brown music video or some shit like that.
Really?
Yeah. So me and a couple friends, we all went up there. I drove because I don't mind driving. I enjoy driving. It was a nice little experience.
How many friends?
Me and 2 other.
Packed in your little Camaro?
No, we drove her mom's car, Honda Accord. So it was a nice little area. The place it was at was not the best area of Detroit, but then again, the best area of Detroit is not the best area.
Sure.
So it was nice, but there was a lot of, at the time we went there was a lot of just, it was either abandoned houses or abandoned houses halfway burned down. A lot. But I guess in recent years they've had plenty of funding. The city's gotten funding to, you know, get them houses, you know, tore down, and so you have literally neighborhoods in the middle of a dense populated area in Detroit that you'll have like one house here and one house here, and then the rest will just be grass because all them houses have been torn down. So they're coming up and they're getting rid of all the abandoned houses. I don't know how their economy's doing, but I guess they're slowly starting to come back up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do, really? I mean...
All that fucking corruption is what destroyed them. I tell you, we went to the, not to go on a whole Detroit tangent, but we went to the...
It's about Detroit,
yeah,
why not? Right?
Went to the GM Renaissance building. You know, the big GM building right there in Detroit.
Yeah.
It's a whole fucking city inside that building. So, it's... you go inside and, you know, the big cylinder tower, it's hotel. It's like the first 3 floors are, you know, floors you can go on and everything. There's stores. There's... the first main floor is a GM showroom of all their brand new model year cars and some concept ones. So you see every single, you know, Buick, Cadillac, Chevy, GMC truck car that they have that's brand new that model year, and some prototypes that, you know, there's some concepts that they have. And then you also have at a fucking CVS, a T-Mobile store, an AT&T store, a 5-screen movie theater. You had 4 full-size restaurants. You had a whole food court full of a bunch of fast food like Burger King, Wendy's, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, daycare. There's a few other things there, just in this building.
Yeah.
And then you could then the 3rd floor up to, I think, I can't remember how many floors it was, but 3 floors down from the top floors was all hotel rooms, and then the top 3 floors were executive offices. To get above the 3rd floor, you had to have a key card to tap to go up, so we snuck in behind someone that was going up. It went up all the way to the top floor, and you're up there, and it's a fucking circular building, so it's not like you walk to the end of a hallway and look out a window, so we had to peek in when one of the maids were cleaning the room to look out the window through the doorway. You were fucking high up, and if you stand still, because it was a windy day when we were there, you could just feel the building swing. I'm like, I'd get fucking motion sickness up here.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. Pretty cool.
What do you think about the car deal? You know, the car manufacturers moving out of there. I mean, on the one side, it's like a business decision, right? Where it's just well, it's cheaper down here, but I mean, it's not right. You know, for that city. I mean, that city was kind of built on that, right? But then it's also not 100% wrong, because I mean, after all, business is trying to make money, but it is I don't know. I would think part of owning a company would be being proud, you know, the American-made thing, whatever, helping. I don't know.
Besides,
I don't know how I feel about it.
Besides, with Detroit's history, and I could be misquoting some of this because it's been a while since I've read up on Detroit's history. Aside from going for cheap labor, which, you know, GM, Ford, Chrysler, they all decided to go for cheaper labor, either move overseas or move to Mexico. there was also in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, even the 2000s, there was heavy corruption in the city of Detroit. Heavy corruption between the city government, between the Detroit police. There was just an extreme amount of corruption. All you had, like, everyone was bought off by everyone.
Yeah.
So, and there was also the fact of with extreme corruption, you also had, a lot of people being forced into poverty, mainly people of color being forced into poverty, hence why Detroit, the people who stayed in Detroit after the automakers left were the poor blacks that could not get out of Detroit because they were just poor. They were broke. They had no money to move out of Detroit.
Yeah.
And, with lower income areas, crime is attracted to them areas, and then it spreads, and then people start getting laid off in their factory jobs, and then now more areas become lower income, and the people who still have money or still have jobs that are either in Detroit or just outside Detroit or just over the river in Canada are now moving out of Detroit itself and moving to the suburbs, and then that just literally just leaves the lower income people in this Detroit metro, and that's when crime starts going through, and then you have corruption because you can just pay someone off or pay a councilman off or pay police officers off or department off. Detroit has a long history of why it failed and that city declared bankruptcy. That's how bad it was. That city declared bankruptcy. They had no money. Interesting read. I'm pretty sure there's probably documentaries out there about that. But
Documentary I watched was the Roger and Me. It was a Michael Moore doc, and it's when GM pulls out of there, and
oh yeah,
he keeps trying to talk to I can't remember the guy's last name, but Roger, whatever the fuck, the GM president or whatever.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And he it's the whole movie. He's chasing him around, but he's also documenting the conditions there in Detroit. And
it's funny. I think that's how most Michael Moore movies are. He's just chasing someone around, trying to get questions out of them.
Yeah, and he's going around, can't get an answer out of this guy. Can't hey, I want to talk to him. Oh, okay. Let's go look at some more poor people in Detroit. And yeah.
I mean, yeah, you can go so on Google Maps, you have the street view on Google Maps, right?
Yeah.
So when you view Google Maps on a computer, you go to Street View, you can actually view the history of previous Street View photos that were taken, wherever you're at, all the way up until, most of it dating back to about 2007, which is when they started the Street View program.
Sure.
You go to Detroit, and you pick just about any densely looked area or close to downtown Detroit, somewhere south of 8 Mile, and go down there, go to Street View, and you go back to 2007, and you go back, and then you fast forward to current day, you see 85% of the houses are just gone.
Yeah.
Either gone or when you go back to 2007, half the houses are abandoned, and then when you go to current day, they're all gone. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting thing to look at. God.
Yeah. All right, so Four Brothers takes place in Detroit.
Yeah, if you didn't know.
It's relevant.
It's relevant.
Well, allegedly the movie takes place there is pretty much shot in Canada. But apparently a rough area of Canada as well that I read in IMDb facts that I don't believe. So.
I wonder what part of Canada it was. Let me see if...
Ontario or something like a place in Ontario. Something or other. But, yeah, so that basketball scene. So they're trying to go around. They're looking for answers.
Toronto. Film was shot in Detroit, Michigan, and Greater Toronto area. I wonder which parts was Michigan, which part was Toronto. I bet you the house was Detroit.
Yeah,
I bet you the house was Detroit, but I bet you a lot of the other scenes, like the car chase scene or whatever, was probably Canada.
Yeah.
They should put a special movie on or a special feature on DVD movies, where you know, you can just like, kind of like you can turn like subtitles on and stuff like that. But you can turn on like location shots, and it'll be like, you know, Los Angeles, Canada, Los Angeles. Like it just tells you where the scene is shot at, studio in California or whatever. That'd be kind of a little cool thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it would.
One of them shoots, it's like it just puts your address at the bottom, and you're like, what the fuck? I remember this.
Yeah. So there's a basketball game in the middle of the day, I guess. Because they go in there looking for answers. They interrupt the basketball game. That scene's wild.
I got the rock. Like,
You just-
Jesus.
You walk in there, you just start beating up high school kids. Like, what the fuck? It's not cool. That kid is dumb for leaving when he says, you know, anybody know anything about the murder?
Why would you
About a
leave?
witness? Just sit there. They're not gonna know any better. I don't know. Anyway, moving on from that.
when
That scene's just fucking wild.
when Jack signaled that they got the guy out in the hallway,
Yeah.
and you know he's thank you for your cooperation. Enjoy the rest of your game. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah.
Jeremiah was like racist as hell.
Yeah. And Jack was like, "No running in the hallway!" And he chased the kid down.
Hey kid.
What?
That scene where Angel comes through the fucking door after the dude runs into the fucking door.
Yeah.
It's funny. That was a meme for a while on Twitter. Like they were just like him coming through the door, like. Just funny when you see like stuff you see on social media as a meme, and you see like where it came from. You're like,
Yeah.
that's where it's from.
I found it. If you just want to talk to someone, probably don't pull out a gun. Hey, you! Come on, man. Then you wonder why the guy runs away. Hey, can I talk to you for a second? Fuck, I guess. Also in that scene, if you sick your dogs on someone, don't be surprised when the
They
person
start
starts
shooting.
shooting at them. Hey, don't shoot my dogs! Also, how'd he miss? Some big-ass dog. They're not small targets.
They weren't moving very fast.
No. Dude's leg looked rough when he falls out the window. That's good special effects right there. When you look at it and you go, oh, and you're like, okay, there's no way they had that guy break his leg for
you
for the scene.
And now that I can understand an actor being like, I'm not fucking doing that.
Yeah. Falling out a window. No, I'm good, man. Thanks. Terrible interrogation skills, as we said. Victor is a terrible person. They portray that very clearly when they flip the deal on him for $400,000. It just makes total sense with everything they do, such as like
Throwing the food on the
throwing the food
floor.
on the floor, making that dude eat.
Dogs gotta eat.
Yeah.
They gotta eat. I was like,
Makes
Jesus.
the guy's wife go over there and eat with him.
Oh, that was. God, can you just imagine how humiliating. I can't fucking say the word. And
Humiliating.
I can't fucking speak apparently. That would be.
You haven't even been drinking.
Someone just fucking throws your food on the table, throws your food on the floor, tells you to eat it,
I think
and you gotta do it because he'll kill you.
I think that's about the time I quit that job, you know? I mean, like, obviously, the guy's probably going to shoot me in the moment, so I got to eat the food off the floor. But then I think that the next day, that's the day when I pack up the car, pack up the kids.
Do you think you can really quit that?
When it comes down to if I don't eat this food off the floor, I'm going to get shot. I'm figured out. I'm gonna get in the car, leave town, take whatever money I got, fill the car up with gas, and I'm gonna go to the next town, start over. I'll figure it out. I'll work at McDonald's in Ohio if I have to, you know?
They find you in Cleveland. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah. Yeah, don't go to another place where it's low income and they could probably find you working for a mob. You gotta go legit after you gotta eat food off the floor.
Just like, you gotta fucking hire out of town killers.
He told him. I mean, I'm on Victor's side there.
Yeah, he
you
told
tell
him.
someone to do something, and they don't do it,
And then it backfires.
and now there's trouble.
It's your fault.
It's your fault, man. I'm sorry. You got to listen to instructions.
He knew what he was doing.
He knew what he was doing. The music's interesting in this one. Oh, so I'm sorry. Victor's a bad person. I didn't finish that thought. They're playing cards. It's very well portrayed that, like, Victor is this kind of egomaniac type of dude where, they show the dude has, like, aces in his hand. And he's just like, nah, I got nothing. I'm folding. Dude's got nines. He's like, I win again. Because you don't want to deal with, the ego of this guy losing. Probably shoot
killing you.
Because you're like, you fucking...
You're cheating. Where'd you pull those out from?
Yeah, you're right. I lose. It's fine. And then, he tells him he should go out of town so he can just have a fuck fest with that guy's wife-to-be.
Oh, man.
And he's just got to sit there and take it. And so it just makes 100% sense when they flip. Because you don't really see it coming because they don't come out and say it. Would you have rather they come out and say it, or do you want that little twist?
I think the twist
in the confrontation
was nice.
scene. Yeah,
the twist was nice because as soon as Jeremiah started talking, and then all of a sudden you see everyone like migrate from behind him to around Victor's suite. You're like, what's going on here?
Yeah,
I think I got a sweet deal.
There it is. Yeah, so Victor's bad. Bad person. I mean, there's good criminals.
Where'd you pick that up at?
There's like good criminal, or there's criminals where you're like, I'd be friends with that guy.
Walter White.
And then there's criminals like Victor Sweet. And you go, I'm good.
I'd be friends with Walter.
Yeah.
Kind of.
It is. Yeah, his dynamic's interesting. How he kind of ends up being the villain, where at first he's doing the bad thing for good, and anyway, we won't go into the whole Breaking Bad thing right now, but just the way you turn.
One of these days, we will break down.
We'll do a Breaking Bad. Yeah,
it'll be a 12-part series.
Yeah,
we'll do one episode per season. I don't see. It's hard to do that when you've already watched the whole series because you're like, then you start like remembering stuff you think is for that season, and then it's for a different season. You're like, oh.
Well, that's why you have to watch it all the time. Like you have to. Okay, if we're doing season 1, we got to watch season 1, and we got to come do this. We got to know exactly what's in season 1, and then if you have your tie-ins for like, oh, this is relevant later in the story because da 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 da, great. We can make those connections, but. The series is so hard because it is like, what do you do? Yeah. Do you go episode by episode? I mean, because in Breaking Bad, there's a lot to cover. I mean...
And then you also got the filler episodes, like the goddamn Fly.
The Fly,
That episode is... I think whenever I rewatch the series, I skip over that episode.
Yeah.
That's just one of them episodes where I'm like, all right, listen, this is an hour long, and I really like the series, but... I don't want to waste an hour.
There's only so many hours in the day, and I'm not wasting this hour watching it. Look for this Fly again. Yeah.
I did it one time. That's good enough for me.
And I mean, like, it's as entertaining as it can be. An episode about him looking for a fly. I mean, it's kind of like, Brian, can you just do this? Like, we're going to put you in a room with a fly and just figure it out, would you?
Try to find the fly. We're not going to tell you where the fly's at. Matter of fact... It's going to be hard to find the fly, so we're putting like 5 in that room.
Yeah.
They're big horse flies, too. You can't miss them. Watch out. They might suck your blood, though.
Can't miss them. The whole 70s music, kind of like the blaxploitation film kind of music. It's fun. It's a certain vibe to it. Yeah. I like that. There isn't much food made for Sophie spending, quote, 2 hours in the kitchen. Obviously, she just wanted to fuck on the dryer, or washer, whatever.
Note to self, I need to try that one. Never thought of it. But then again, also, both my washer and dryer have the feet level, so it doesn't shake. Maybe I need to adjust the feet. Make one shorter than the other. And then I'll put a comforter in there, and not put it on the bulky setting.
Right.
Put it on the quick wash. Rinse and spin. There we go. Make sure it's lopsided in there, too, so all the weight's on one side, so it's just like boom, boom. You ever done that? You ever had something in the washing machine and you didn't realize how lopsided it was in there? You just start hearing boom, boom. You're like, what the fuck?
My other washer, the The washer we just got rid of. I mean, the whole, like, the encasing of the outside of the washer had, like, completely come off, basically. So, like, on 3 sides, like, here, and here was connected, but this side had, like, come off. And I don't know when it did, but then the spin cycle would go, and if it was just even the slightest bit
Off balance.
I mean, in that final spin cycle, no matter what was in there, it was like dun 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 dun, and you're just like Jesus. Yeah. So
I want to sample that noise now.
just me going. Yeah. I love when he makes her go outside when he's talking to the State Farm guy, because she goes, "What are these?" He comments, "Oh, those are breath mints, baby." And then he tells her to put the cuckoo back in the clock, baby. That whole scene is just funny. She's out there screaming, and he goes, $400,000. Wow, that's crazy. And she's out there, "You motherfucker!" Yeah.
Those are breath mints, baby. That scene always cracks me up, no matter how many times I watch it. Especially she's just like, "Oh, those are breath mints, baby."
Just like
It's
trying
so
to wave her out,
natural.
like, can you just, those are breath mints, like, just put the cuckoo clock back in the clock. Put the cuckoo back in the clock, baby. What is all over that dog's face? They break into Mr. Bradford's house,
Oh,
who was
yeah.
apparently banging their mom.
Which he didn't want to talk about. I mean, she's dead, so we might as well just close it. Hey, before, when your mom wasn't cold, I was banging her. I mean, maybe not in the words, but
Yeah.
words might be a little hurtful, but
I would think, again, that's another thing. Full disclosure, probably best policy here. Hey, look, you and
your mom was creaming and screaming.
your mother and I were romantically involved. Just so you know.
Your mom was creaming and screaming.
Yeah. I
Ugh.
don't know. But they break in. The dog comes up. As far as you can see, it's clean. And I don't know if they're feeding it peanut butter to get it to behave or what the fuck. But, I mean, did you notice they're sitting there at
I
the...
wasn't paying attention.
I
that
think
part.
they're at the computer, right? And then, yeah, he's still holding the dog, and the dog just got just this shit all over its face. And I'm like, what the fuck is all over that dog's face? And I don't think Mr. Bradford would have been so understanding about his back door being broken into, like the glass and everything, because he just goes, "I understand." And it's like, I don't know.
Maybe he's scared of them. He's like, you know what? I got money. I live in this big ass house. I can afford to replace that. So I'd rather not risk
Die.
anything else because they were short of killing him, probably.
It's so funny when they start
fucking-
smacking his belly. Like, that's so fucking
He said, "Look at that, nice big red print." And I was like,
yeah.
if it's really below 20 degrees, I know that shit fucking hurt.
Seems like the councilman would have noticed his broken window. Walks right up to the car. The guy's asking about it. Walks right past the broken window. Gets in the car. I mean, I don't know. It just seems
think- well,
you're
no,
walking up to your car, you're going to notice something wrong, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
Because they confront him in the
Yeah.
garage, and then he walks up to his car, gets into the car, and then the first thing you see with the camera in the passenger seat is like broken window, councilman, and then he smells gas, and then there's the whole thing.
I feel like you noticed the broken window first before you smelled the gas. But I also feel like as soon as you got in the car, you would smell the gas.
Which he did. He was.
But as soon as you open up the door, like,
Yeah, I know.
you open up the door, I'll be like,
Just shut the door. Open it. No, not getting here today.
you know what? I'm gonna walk home.
Yeah, I'm gonna call me a nice taxi.
Didn't have Ubers then. Did not
Taxi.
have Ubers.
Taxi.
So you have to do taxi.
Yeah.
2005.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah. Okay. So we're talking about Victor Sweet. The whole big fight scene at the Mercer house is cool. Shotgun accuracy is a problem there for me. Because a shotgun does this, and then that dude shoots Jack, and then Bobby comes out, and it hits that dude right in the chest. But if a shotgun goes like this and he's, 20 feet away, Jack's also going to get sprayed in the back. And it's mostly going to hit Jack.
Maybe that's what really killed Jack.
Yeah, maybe. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it was the fucking machine gun that just sprayed him in the back, though. I don't think he had any real chance of... I mean, he got sprayed.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think even if they get to him, in less time, I don't know that he has much of a chance at the hospital. Because, I mean, you figure a drive down to, I don't know. I think he was dead.
Yeah.
Either way.
I mean, yeah, you're pretty much lights out. You're just counting down the clock at that point.
Yeah.
The painful clock that you kind of wish would come quicker.
Yeah. But yeah, he got sprayed. Shotgun accuracy, no good. Just saying. Yeah.
I've played some Call of Duty in my time. Shotgun accuracy is not accurate.
I mean, my source is Bill Burr. That got a good spread. Joke. Anyway. Any comments on that scene? Yeah, it's good. It's a good scene. It's fun. Action-filled. Action-packed. The sound effect when Tyrese shoots definitely doesn't match those pistols, I didn't feel like, but...
Hey!
Do-do! I don't know. Talked about that.
When Jeremiah was like, fucking stabbed the dude
Yeah.
in the kitchen.
I got a wife! Kids!
He's like, I was like, Jesus.
Then he didn't like it at all. He just kind of like, ran out to his Volvo.
Which makes a later appearance.
Yeah. So all that happens. The guy's, again, just the impartial cop, Sorry, but, like, what happened here? I'm like, did you kill people? It was self-defense? I bet it was self-defense, wasn't it? Yeah, it was self-defense.
What do we do about all this?
Self-defense?
Looks like self-defense to me. It's like, Jesus.
Like, I don't know, man.
I feel like in that situation, everyone is going to cuffs.
There's gotta be more paperwork there.
The fucking paperwork is just self-defense.
Yeah, there's like...
Case closed.
There's all
Open
these
the check
questions.
case, Johnson.
There's like it's like the comments box at the bottom of the sheet. It's like self-defense, signature. Leave all the other shit blank. I don't know cop paperwork. I'm just making things up.
Open a check case, Johnson.
So Green confronts Fowler at the bar, hits him with a pool cue.
Which, he skipped over where we got to that. Because he went to talk to the lawyer. I believe that was.
Yeah, so they find out because they talk to the lawyer.
That was banging Evelyn.
Yes, he goes, well, that was all filed in the police report. The discrepancies about her son's business woes. The guy's, locking him out of, corruption.
Yeah.
They own the councilman, so the councilman kicks him out because he won't play ball with the gangsters. Which, classic gangster shit.
Mm-hmm.
Every union ever is like mob stuff.
Yeah.
That fucking Fear City, New York versus the Mafia. That's a great 4-episode doc. Just talking about all that. Anyway. Yeah, so then they look at the surveillance videos in the station. And she met with Fowler for over an hour. Filing a police report, and then Fowler just didn't file it. He, gave it to Victor Sweet. So this bitch is getting nosy, essentially.
Time to take the old bitch out.
Yeah, in so many words, right? Yeah, so then Green confronts Fowler in the bar for that. Hits the shit out of his leg with the pool cue. Fowler makes a quick recovery because the next day he's just, he's up walking around. He's cool.
Your stick's a little crooked.
Yeah.
Fine for me. I was like, Jesus, that was...
Yeah.
He shoots him outside the bar.
Follows Green out, shoots him.
Tells him it was some black kids.
Yeah, of course.
Shots
Radios
fired,
it in,
officer down.
Starts firing guns in the air. But then Fowler's fine the next day when Angel's at his house. You know, he's walking around just fine, so quick recovery there. Don't know if there's any, like, you know, ligament damage or breaks or whatever the fuck, but
Had plenty of time.
just seemed the way he was limping, you know, for the next day for him to be cool. I don't know, just one of my asshole continuity things.
Maybe it was just a slight injury. We all twisted our ankle, then the next day we're like, okay, we're good.
Right. So yeah, they unleash this whole plan, right? Which they don't really clue you in on. You find out the twist in the end. But the deal is, you think Jeremiah is just trying to give them $400,000 to leave them alone, and Angel is taking out Fowler, or so you think that's the plan, and then the plan is actually to. I mean, how much of that do you think is planned? That whole confrontation with Angel and Fowler. Because what happens is, he goes in his house, suffocates him, gives him a chance to get out. Also, what was that comment about the black bag against the clear bag? Because I'm like, don't both suffocate?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just
there.
referencing of like, you know, black bag. You know, your darkness. You can't see anything that's going on around you. Versus clear bag. You're like, if you're suffocating yourself, you can just literally just watch everything. You basically kind of can see yourself die, I guess. Versus just being like, you know, blackness and just like that's just blackness forever if you're get suffocated to death. Versus like, you know, being able to watch everything just kind of like fade away as you die. I'm guessing speculation.
Yeah, but like, I don't know the way you made it sound. It was just kind of like, so if it's a black bag, I'm not gonna be able to poke it, and I don't know. I was confused by that whole statement, but.
I don't know. Speculation. Some things I just don't really try and go too far deep into because, you know, movie stuff is just sometimes doesn't make any sense. I'm like, do I really want to, you know, put brain power into this, or I just want to let it just slide?
Well, we're already here, so
Yeah.
maybe no, I'm just
I have very little brain power, so.
So he suffocates him, you know. Fowler rips the bag. He's like, yeah, people don't think to go for the bag. They always try to go for the belt. She's like, really? No one ever goes for the bag? Anyway, we're off of that. Black bag versus clear, no one goes for the bag. We'll just step right past it. But so then the cops come. Because obviously that was part of the... Do you think Sophie was being crazy, or do you think they counted on Sophie being crazy, or do you think they told Sophie to go down to the station?
I think they probably told her.
Okay.
Because
I also think so, but like...
Well, if you recall it... Another deleted scene that I just remembered because of why I recalled back to that.
Yeah.
So the deleted scene was Angel getting arrested after them shooting Fowler. And he's getting arrested in the car, and Sophie's like running up behind, you know, trying to check on him and stuff like that. And as he's getting put in the car, you know, he kisses her and says, "You're a great actor, baby," and then he gets shoved into the car.
Oh, that's her saying they bought it.
Yeah.
At the end when he gets released. Yeah. So she's just been a bit of a wild card all movie,
Yeah.
so, you know, it's right to question it. But, okay, so it gets kind of iffy there at the end where the cops come, and then he lies to him, says he's got a wire on. And so then Fowler takes him outside with the gun to his head, saying, you know, I'll shoot him and all this, right? If he's going, I'll take him with... If I'm going, I'll take him with me. And then Angel cracks him, or I don't remember the movie did, but he hits him, gets away from him. Fowler points the gun. I'm thinking if Fowler's this corrupt cop, like, how do you know he wasn't just about to shoot the fuck out of you right there after you hit him, get away from him, points the gun at you? I don't know. Seems fairly risky, though. Obviously, these guys kind of live on the edge. And then the cops just take Fowler, cops just take Fowler out because he starts shooting at him.
Well, before Angel did that like little like hit move to get away, I mean he shot one at the cops because they were starting to approach. Like, hey, we're here to help you. You know, lower the gun, and then he said boom and shot it. It missed him, hit the car, and like they all kind of like backed up again behind the car, and they're like, oh fuck.
Yeah. So, well, a lot of iffy parts. I would not do well in the Mercer
Very
family.
risky.
I would
Very.
not do well in the Mercer family. I don't like.
Would you be Jack? You'd be
any of
the gay
hijinks.
one,
Yeah, I'd be the gay one.
possibly molested.
Yeah.
I'll be Jeremiah, because I'm also an outcast. If you didn't know that.
Oh, good for you, man. Glad to hear it. So, Victor Sweet's guys are banging on Jeremiah's door. They say, you know, he can't go until he gets the call from Angel. Jeremiah's like, I'm getting my scarf! And he comes out with no scarf. Just thought it was funny. Don't dig the music during the whole final scene. Everybody driving out to the lake. Something about that. Just like, ba-da-da-da-dum-da-dum-da-dum. I don't know. Stuff like that.
And something about, and maybe
In
it's
movies. It's like, can't you just have like a vibe? Do we really have to do like this? I don't know. Like, music can do really well, and music can also make a scene feel forced because they're trying to make you like you're supposed to feel tension here. Da 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 da. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's a stupid thing, but like, be more subtle with music. I feel like music should be more subtle in films sometimes. It should be more of a background thing if it's there. That kind of thing. Anyway.
And I'm not from Michigan or Canada.
Word.
But the whole, like, I know when it gets cold enough, lakes will freeze over. I just don't trust putting cars on a frozen lake. I don't know. I mean, like, I know, like, it's done, like, you know, you have, like, the series, like, Ice Road Truckers, they literally drive over frozen lakes. But I'm like,
Yeah, why is that,
I don't
by
trust
the way?
that.
Why are they always driving over
Frozen lakes
frozen lakes?
and Ice Road Truckers.
Are the highways blocked?
I think they can cut the commute down. Versus, like, you know, if you have, you know, a lake with, you know, fucking just geography nightmare. You have a highway just curved all the way around this lake, or you could just cut right across the lake and, you know, shave like 2 hours off of your drive. I guess it's a common practice in Canada. I don't know. I don't trust it. I mean,
But also, like, how you getting down? Like, they just have a service road to the lake because they
Probably.
know dudes do this.
probably. I don't ever really watch the series. I just know about it and I know what it's about. But
Right.
probably. I just don't. I mean, you know, we live enough north to where we get cold, but too far south for us to have frozen lakes. Hence why every winter the news is always like, if the lake looks frozen, don't walk on it, because, you know, kids will go walk on a lake and meanwhile it's frozen over only like an inch thick, and as soon as they get like 2 feet off of the edge,
Yeah.
right through and they drown. Because, you know, it's easy to fall through, but then it's harder to come back up when it's frozen.
Natural selection.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's needed sometimes.
Okay, how fucking far did Bobby walk in the snow?
I knew that was going to come up. I don't know. I've always wondered that. I'm like, okay,
'Cause, I
so
mean-
they drove for a while.
Yeah.
They drove for a while. You can see miles. Like, number one, what lake are they on? And why are they so far out?
Right.
Number two, where the fuck did he come from?
Yeah, I mean,
Like, he had to have been walking for like 2 hours at least.
yeah.
Because,
And-
like, there's no car off in the distance that he stopped and he's just like, let me park here. I'm going to walk over dramatic effect. No, I just walking.
And if you think Jeremiah and him left the house at the same time, going to the same place, and he was only like 20 minutes behind,
Jesus.
like, come
Yeah,
on.
that just doesn't. I've always wondered that whenever I watch a movie. I'm like, where the fuck is he walking from? And how the fuck is he getting out here?
I don't get it.
And like,
Did he have a bike that he abandoned at some point? And even then, I mean, biking all that snow.
Yeah.
And your feet are going to be fucking miserable. And your coat's just open. You're walking through all that coat. Whatever, dude. Whatever.
And, like, how do you determine when you're meeting up on a frozen lake where you're going to meet up at? Like, meet me in the middle of the lake, and you're like, okay.
So you got latitude and longitude going on? How do I
Like,
even measure that?
What's the middle? It's 2005. We don't have
I don't have
smartphones.
smartphones to take me to GPS coordinates right now, so...
It's like, you just got to kind of look like, okay, looks like people might be over there, so I'm going over there. Hope it's them.
Yeah, I know, you go... It's
You're
like,
like-
oh, is this a different gang throwing somebody in the lake? Word. My bad. I'll get out of here.
Like, I just...
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
And they're pulling up, and, like, what kind of got me, and, like, I didn't understand this part once you know, in hindsight. But when they're pulling up, and Jeremiah's like, I forget exactly what he says. He's like, man, what is that? Or what the hell is that? And they're, you know, they're cutting the ice out. I'm thinking, I'm like, well, if this is all planned, I feel like he just wouldn't have that reaction. I know they added the reaction to put the twist in a little
all
bit
the
more.
dudes are in on it.
Like, I feel like he wouldn't have that reaction. He'd be like, okay, well, I know what's, you know, what that's for.
Yeah, it's definitely
But,
a
like,
hindsight thing. Yeah.
It's definitely like they put that in there to kind of throw you off a little bit more. But then when you think about it logically, why the fuck
He
would
wouldn't
he?
have said it. They'd all just be standing there looking at the fucking hole in the ice. Like,
He said, Tommy here is part Eskimo.
yeah.
I was like, looking back, I'm like, okay, that whole like dialogue was just not needed. It was obviously put in there to throw you off even more.
Yeah. I agree completely. Interesting the way it ends. Like, all these gangsters aren't going to be a problem again. They got $400,000. Like, I mean, they're $400,000 amongst, what was that, like 10 to 12 guys there? It's only going to go so far. And then those dudes are going to be, you know, they're going to need to go earn something once more. So then there's probably going to be more corruption in town. But it's just funny the way it's like, oh, it's cool. Like, they got 400,000. Like,
That's 40,000 a piece.
won't hear from them again.
It's 40,000 a piece. I mean, that's
I don't know, what's that going to set you for a year? I mean, and those dudes, I mean, gangsters live large. You know what I mean? So that,
But also, if you notice, I mean, maybe with what's his name, Evan.
yeah.
You know, when they went to his house, you know, he had his kids and family and everything. Like, maybe like they're all like they all just kind of got caught up in something that they couldn't get out of because they knew if they tried to get out of it, they might have got killed.
Right.
And like they all kind of signed like that deal, like whatever that Jeremiah didn't want to be a part of. And maybe that's just their way out, and they're just going to look for something else to do, and they might not return to that life of crime because they all kind of seem, for the most part, like, you know, like they didn't enjoy being here, but they didn't know what they signed up for. You know,
Yeah.
they got a bad union rep. Is what happened. That's what it seems like.
Yeah. And the cop interrogation is funny. All of them say they bang their wives.
Banged their wives. Banging that pretty little wife of yours.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Said, baby, you alright? No, it's fine, just a boo-boo. Ain't no boo-boo. Someone put their fist in your face.
Someone put their fist in your eye. Yeah. Did you hit him back? Yeah. Did his face look like that? Yeah. Alright. What would you rate it?
I give this one out of 10. I give it an 8.
Yeah.
Give it an 8.3. Because I watch it again, and it is on my top favorite movies. So.
It's alright. Wasn't overly passionate in a positive or negative way. Because, you know, sometimes I get on my negative rants where I go like, when the fuck was this movie? You know. So I did not have any over negative, but also no over positive side of it. So it's just kind of a movie. It's rewatchable.
Yeah, you're like Lieutenant Green. You're just impartial.
Yeah, I'm just in part. Did you kill these people? Okay. All right.
Alright. If you got anything, just let me know.
If you did kill these people, how do you think you would have done it, and why?
That's how they should have done the OJ trial. To say, if you killed this woman, how would you have done it if you would have done it?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna go. That's probably a C movie for me. I'm gonna go C. I'm sticking to letter grades. We do numbers for bonds because we started it that way, so it's just kind of continuity, and then we come here. And I go back to numbers, and I'm like, wait, I don't like numbers. I like the letter
Then
grade
you go to
thing.
letters, and we did eggplants for a while, and Charles refused to do the eggplants. He was too cool for the eggplants.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Love you, Charlie. Look forward to having you back. I don't think we never talked.
We'll see.
Hey, since we didn't
This
talk
is more
about
of a
it.
circle jerk topic
Yeah.
because this will be coming out in November.
Well, but
But,
all these will be coming out in November. But
Well, no, but a circle jerk would be right away.
That's fair.
But yeah,
he had his baby, so that's why he's not here. You
Well,
might
he
hear
hasn't
it.
been-
You might hear it sooner on a circle jerk. If you don't listen to the circle jerks, hey, that's why you haven't heard Charles on here in a minute.
Yeah.
He had his baby. Not him. He didn't have the baby. His girlfriend had the baby. He just
Yes.
stood there and watched.
Yeah.
I think. I don't
Star
know.
Wars was recorded ahead of time. That's why you see him there and whatever. And Star Wars is long over by the time this comes out,
Yeah.
even so.
But not really, because it's in a galaxy far, far away.
I just mean on our podcast. Yeah, I mean he's they're doing well. Hopefully, they're doing well right now. Hopefully, they're still doing well in November. So obviously, congratulations to them. But it's very late.
Yeah, very
If
late.
you're listening to this.
Very
in-
late.
in,
It's November.
so,
We're recording this, earlier than that. But
yeah,
hey, you might hear it on Circle Jerk. Then we might talk about it if
yeah,
We didn't talk about it last Circle Jerk. I think last week was the first set of podcasts
First
we did.
jerk in a while.
Last week was the first set of podcasts we even recorded for, since he had his baby, because we took what?
It took a week off.
A week
yeah.
off.
That one Friday I just didn't have enough time to do anything, and it was a long week.
Yeah, I feel it. Sometimes we have holidays.
Baby came,
Yeah,
went and saw the baby, all that kind of stuff.
gotta
and
see the baby.
Gotta see the baby.
It's not for reference. Boom, boom, boom.
Still did a bond that weekend, but yeah, and then following week, Stranger Things, Circle Jerk. That's the whole Circle Jerk was basically Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And then,
Hence why there wasn't much commentary for me in that one, because I'm like, I haven't really seen it. I'm gonna go outside and take this phone call.
Yeah. As far as a Circle Jerk this week, I don't know that we got much to.
Might be a short circle jerk. I don't know.
Might not jerk it at all.
Yeah, it might not. It might just be a quickie. Might be one of them little rub and tug, and you done.
Yeah. But we'll stop talking about
Let's see.
September and November.
Hey, yeah, this is the past, baby. We focusing on the future. This is November. When you hear this, maybe
Yeah.
earliest you'll hear it is November.
This is our time capsule to you.
Yeah,
Of 2 months.
we'll listen to this again and see how much we've changed.
Yeah.
Tyler might be a girl by the time this comes out.
Never know.
Hey,
And Bobby Mercer might be gay.
hey.
Thanks for listening or viewing Content Crisis. You can subscribe to us on Spotify or Apple or wherever you get your podcasts, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Email us at contentcrisishotline@yahoo.com, and goodbye.
Heyo.